Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're well and having a beautiful day, doing whatever makes you happy in your happy space. In today's tutorial we will be moving on with block number 7, and it's a beautiful what's it called, you know what, I'm saying this to myself and I'm thinking of all the other names of the older blocks. So it's a pinwheel star, absolutely gorgeous block. I think it's my favorite, to be honest. Tell me down below, and I asked you the question in the following video. Tell me down below which is your favorite block so far. As I said, we're on block number 7. I think this one may be my one. All of them are beautiful, but you know, you take a likeness to, a more likeness I should say, to the others. Okay, so it's block number 7. It's a very simplistic one in my eyes anyway. I did do some sewing on the video as well, not a lot, because I think it's really is simplified. I think that's it really. That's all I've got to say to you. If you're new here and you would like to take part in the quilt along, the links are down below. If the links are already depleted, i.e. there's no more attachment, just simply email me and I will send it out to you. I usually upload about 200 and it goes away very quickly. Sometimes it slows down after the first upload or so, or the first day, and then it trickles down eventually. All right, but what most people have done who's actually taken part is actually just email me, and I simply do email them back. If I haven't got back to you, just send me a reminder. It's not a problem. It's just that sometimes because of the dog, he takes away literally all my free time. Okay, so just do that and everything will be all right. No problems, I think, in making this one. It's a simplified one. Any problems, as I said, just give me a jot down below, or any questions. I'm quite happy to answer them. If you do enjoyed all of the tutorials so far and you haven't subscribed and you've been watching, please subscribe. It really does help the channel out heaps. If you're not a subscriber and you are being learned or you are being entertained by what you see, please do me the honor of just simply subscribing and sharing the video out. You don't know how much it actually helps. It helps heaps if you didn't know. And if you are watching your favorite content creator, by all means just do them the honor and just simply subscribe or simply share it out. It really does support the channel. I mean, to be honest, the subscribers not so much after a certain time. Yes, we all want to have loads and loads of people following us, but it's really the views that really helps to keep the channel going, because the content creator is able to get paid from the views, not the subscribers. If you didn't know, the subscribers are more important when you're starting out, but as you know, as your channel grow, you know, quite organically, it's sort of take on its own self, you know, and people will subscribe. But it's the views that's important, that helps the content creator to earn a tiny bit of a living. Don't be confused by seeing, you know, people have loads of subscribers and thinking they earn a lot of money. That's not the way it goes. It really depends on how many people watch the video and for how long. So it's important that you watch it right to the end, to really help that content creator to get a small bit of funding from YouTube. All right, so I hope that helps. I know sometimes people don't understand how the process works, and it's good to educate others on how it actually works. And that's it. There's nothing secret about it. It's simply subscribe, watch, leave a comment and share. You know, that's really all we ask of you. So with that being said, as I said, the link will be there. So bye for now. Happy quilting, and I'll definitely see you again by the weekend. And share with me down below. I want to know your favorite. Bye for now. All right, so our next block today is the 7th block, and it's a pinwheel star. All right, so meaning that there is a small pinwheel within the middle of the star, so you can see that movement of the pinwheel as well as the movement of the star. What I would say to you for this block is, and just be mindful of the colors that you are using. Try to do your layout in the sense that wherever I have my placement for colors is where you would add your placement also. So just pay attention to that really. All right, again, I'm working with my fat quarter bundle, so the flutter fabric bundle with the blues and the yellows and the dark greens and light greens. I'm still working with my background white, so I haven't changed anything. Okay, my original fat quarter bundle was a bundle of 10, I think, or 8 or something like that, and so I've stuck to that. I haven't used anything else. All right, so moving on, I have cut my blues here, and I'm identifying them as for a reason, so that you can still sort of use or know where your color placement are. So I've got my blues, I've got my background, as you can see, quite a lot of those, a yellow there, and 2 orange, and again I will identify them as such in the pattern so that you're able to construct it quite easily. You need your seam roller. You obviously will need your sewing machine, of course, and your rotary, and of course your sewing machine. Sorry, your iron. Okay, but I like to iron once I have made the block. Okay, all right, so moving on, we need to start with do some subcutting now, and we will be starting with these 2 here. So these 2 are the same size, so again that will be identified in your pattern so that you're aware. The smaller background squares, these are your corner squares, so those are not going to be cut at the moment, but the only ones that's going to be cut is these ones here. All right, so for this one we will be cutting them into quarters. Once you've made the quarter square triangles, as usual, you just need to fold it back, okay, and press with your fingers or your seam roller, whatever is the easiest for you. And then we're going to join these half square triangles together like so. Once you've done that, it should look like this. You're going to give it a nice little trim. Just trim it down nice and neat, remove all the dog hairs, etc. And then you're good to go. So I'm going to finish all of that, and then we will continue to the rest. All right, so moving on, after you have sewn on the blue to your quarter square triangles, you need to open them up, obviously, and press them and trim. I'm just finger pressing as I do, as normal. And in this particular instance, I am pressing the seam towards the blue because obviously you got that join seam there and it's naturally forcing it that way. All right, and I'm just going to square it up and just move these aside. So do that for all of them. I will give it a little bit of a warm iron since I'm here and it's already on, so I'll do that. And then we will trim as usual. If the iron is not hot, okay, just as I usually say, I don't use a hot iron at this point. I do find from personal experience that it always tends to just wilt the fabric a little bit. All right, so remember you're just, you know, giving a good old stamp on it. So you're pressing, you're not ironing. All right, it's a difference. All right, so, and I'm going to trim. And again, all I'm doing literally is just trimming off the dog ears. But I like to use my rotary cutter to do it. In fact, to be honest, I tend to use whatever is in my hand, but most of the times I will use my rotary because I just like that clean cut. And sometimes it depends on how many I have. But guys, I tell you, it is a rainy day today. It's a rainy or windy day today. It's been windy all night, literally all night. It's been windy. You can hear the trees swaying. Everything has been blown away. I mean, I must admit, Mr. J, I don't want to call his full name because he's being extremely quiet today. He's literally cuddled up in his bed right behind me. So I know he knows it's a rainy day. It's one of those days where you want to stay indoors and not go anywhere because it's just so rainy, wet, dull, grey. It's not a nice day today at all. But he's being quiet, so I am not complaining. I'm going to leave him well alone. He's having a rest day. All right, so the next step now is to work with these. Remember our corner squares, let's leave those to the side for now. And we're going to do what we've been doing since we started this sew along, is to lay 2 of the blocks front side together. So at this stage you should have 2 blue left, or whatever colors you're working with, and 2 of my orange left, and 4 background square. All right, and these are 4 inches, all of them. So what we're going to do is lay them front sides together, draw a line in the middle. We're making half square triangles. I know I don't have to demonstrate sewing that because we have been doing that from day 1. All right, so draw a line and you're going to sew on either side of that line, and then we are going to cut it down the middle, and then we will start the layout. All right, so I will move on with that and come back, and then we will put it together and you will see how easy this star is. Literally nice star. I think definitely for this one, color placement, as with all of the stars, and I think with making any blocks, to be honest, that color placement is so important, so important. I see a lot of people make the most beautiful quilts, but you can't see the pattern because the fabric's color choices, to me, is just wrong. I'm using a fabric pen here, as I usually do. Yeah, color choices are just wrong. It's so important to get it right, you know, because to me, I personally feel that it's pointless to not take the time to plan the colors. It's relatively important, because without that, to me, it just looks like a bunch of fabric just used. And the objective really when it comes to patchwork is to show that pattern. To me, that's the objective. Without it, it's just pieces of fabric sewn together. All right, so all of them drawn. I've done some of the light. Hopefully you can see it. I'm using a yellow, but it's showing up there. So on, and use this middle line as your guide, and you can have a 1/4 inch on each side. And when I say as a guide, we are then going to come back and cut on that yellow line. Right, just to ensure you line up on that yellow line, your guide for your 1/4 inch should be on that yellow line, and just sew. Again, I always chain piece just to ensure it finishes quickly. Alright, so the next stage now is to cut it in half, again using that line as your guide to cut it in half. And obviously we will have 2 sets of half square triangles. Just take your time at this stage. It is relatively a quick block to make. Imagine making this in quite an abundance. I would imagine that you would get through them quite easily. So again, at this stage, you can have your iron next to you and... Oh, no, I just made a mistake. Did I? Yes, I did. I literally sewed one of my background fabrics on the wrong side. So it is sewn together on the wrong side, whereas the right side is facing down and the wrong side. But I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to switch it around. I am very, very doubtful that it's even going to show up. So I'm not going. I could just simply unpick it and sew it together. It's not a big deal. I will actually see what it looks like once I have laid it out. But I'm not going to take the dog ears off this one. Just going to leave it and see what it looks like. But to be honest, I have done this before whereby I've made that error and I've literally just left it. So as usual, put the white down and finger press or seam roll press, whatever is the easiest for you. White down, fold back so that that goes towards the darker color. I say the same thing each week so that repetition is the key here to make sure the learning is solidified, as I always say, so that it stays. The more we repeat things, the more it becomes part of the memory quite easily. And then we're not trying to remember, aren't we? We're just sort of functioning and knowing exactly what you're doing. Right, so that again, I will remove the dog ears off of this pile, but for that one, I would leave it for now and see if it's absolutely necessary to switch it around, which I doubt, to be honest, because I can still see some of that pink still peeping through on the wrong side, so may not be much of an issue, but I'll see once I build the block. So once again, dog ears off of this one. This time, because it's quite a lot, I'm just going to snip. Alright, since the iron is all next to me, I will just give these a little press, just so that they stay nice and flat. Again, a very cool iron, it's on green. Alright, so these are the two that I've sewn on the wrong side. So that is the right side of the white, and that's the wrong side. But if I hold them together, you can't even see a difference on the camera. All right, so let's lay them out and see where we go from here. All right, so let's lay it all out now. So we're going to start with the middle squares. Okay, and what we want is to lay them out in a pinwheel style. Like so. Make sure that you have the middle of the yellows touching. Notice I made a mistake there. All right, so you want the yellows touching in the middle. All right, that's very important. Okay, and then we're going to move in with the blue, and obviously if I have the other blue, it will tell me that it sits right there. Okay, and again, it sits right there. The blue again sits there. Just turn it at the same angle so it's heading outwards to show that blade of that star, or that star legs moving. All right, and of course you'll wonder, what do I do next? Well, we're going to be using the orange now to make the other star legs. All right, your background fabric goes in there as usual, just so that you don't get it confused, and don't put it like so. All right, we want the orange touching like so. Okay, so we want both those colors coming together. All right, same with the next. Now we will see now if it makes any huge difference when I put these here together. Let's add that one in there. And then I put this one together like so, and this one together. Now what I'm concentrating on here is whether or not to move around the fabrics, and visually right up from my face I can actually see the difference, definitely. So in this instance I will unpick and I will sew it back again, then I'll trim it off, and then I'll sew the whole thing together. But it looks beautifully, the colors are striking, it's a beautiful block, absolutely gorgeous. Okay, be mindful and to remember that when you add on the extra legs, because it hasn't got another orange there, isn't it, to remind you. Your reminder here is to the orange must touch the white, orange touch white. Okay, so then you show that movement with the star. But absolutely gorgeous, absolutely beautiful colors. Notice again the color placement, and I go on about that because it's important in showing up the movement. All right, so I'm going to unpick these here, and then I'm going to re-sew them. So even if you make that mistake, it is not a problem, because even if I were to cut these normally as half square triangles, yeah, and then sew them together, it's the same act. The only difference is because we did it the way we did, it made it come together a lot more quickly. So I'm going to unpick these. Alright, so now that I've sewn it on together properly now, what I'm going to do is add it in, and again on this side, and obviously that looks a lot more better, literally a lot more better, definitely. What I would say, as I am noticing my cuts here, one of my cut here is cut slightly smaller, so I am going to recut this one here, my corners, where I can see it's a tiny bit shorter. So if that happens to you for whatever reason, you didn't cut accurately, just recut again. Don't try and force it on. These things happen. And to be honest, the room was a bit dark yesterday, and because it's been a very rainy day, past 2 days or so. So there wasn't much natural light. And I did say to myself, this looks a bit smaller. Obviously I wear glasses, don't I? But anyway, so I'm going to recut it. So that's just to make sure. This is just a pre-warning for you. Just double check. So ideally, at this stage, all the blocks, or all these smaller blocks here, should be the same size. So if that happens, all you need to do is whatever block size your star legs are, just simply cut them cut your corner squares to that. All right, so it all lines up properly. So I'm going to recut this one, sew it together and present it to you properly. Before I sew it together, I just wanted to let you know how to do that. Just remembered I didn't mention that. So you have options for this one. You can sew these together as a 4-patch. Okay, once you've done that, you bring these two together, and fold them over and sew. You can sew it in rows and then bring together. It's entirely down to you. All right, you can sew together these two, these four here, these two, sew these together, bring these together, sew these and bring them all together, then fold over. Either way, whatever technique you want to sew it together, it's entirely down to you. I'll leave that to your discretion. To be honest, I think I will do the 4-patch. So I'll do the 4-patch sewing here and then bring them all together, and then I'll iron the block and present it. So you'll see how it looks in its entirety once it's been made. All right. Alright, so I have stitched this together now, but what I wanted to point out is to literally make sure that you pin the intersections so that you can sew it all together properly. Now I didn't show this because it's just as simple as sewing together a 4-patch and then folding it over. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is to simply give it a good bit of a press, and then we're going to just check the edges out to ensure it's nice and even. And then after that, show you the block. So I'm giving it a good old steam press at this point, just to ensure it stays lovely and flat. And now I'm going to give it, straighten up the edges. Okay, so I'm lining up any excess and just trimming it all off to ensure that block is nice and straight. Again, you're just doing trimmings at this stage. You're not squaring it up or anything. The block comes up to the size it's supposed to be. So that any excess where any block is not nice and tidy and straight, try not to cut your points off. And just take your time here. And just make sure that's correct. Add a bit of pressure, especially through those seam joints there, so they come up nicely. So what I'm actually trimming off is bits like that, so you can see where it's uneven there. So that's what I'm taking off and just trimming up that block. And just double checking, this side looks okay, but just a tiny bit on this one. All right, so that is it there. All right, guys, just checking I didn't step on Jackson because he's literally right by my feet. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Doesn't that look beautiful? Colors are amazing. So pinwheel star, absolutely gorgeous. Take your time. Color placement is important. Look at that blue, how striking it is. And then the contrast with the yellow and the orange playing off with the background. Just simply beautiful. So like and subscribe for more, hit that notification bell, and of course there will be the instructions for the sizes so that you get it right. Any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Any blocks that's run out, just send me an email and I will send you one. I have no problem doing that, so it's not an issue. All right, but this is number 7. We're getting there. So remember, it's a 12 vintage star block quilt along. I'm loving this one. It's so nice, isn't it? Down below, I want you to tell me which is your favorite so far in all of the blocks. I don't know. I'm torn between this one and the woven, to be honest. Yeah, I am a bit torn. But all of them have been very lovely. In case you didn't know, I conduct so much research because I make the blocks the week before it's due on the Wednesday, because it's every Wednesday I release the quilt along. So the amount of research that goes into making sure the blocks are very different. I don't want to do anything that's you know, ordinary or regular that you see, like a sawtooth star. I don't want to do anything like that. So something original and unique, and that is not seen a lot. That looks complicated, but it isn't. So I hope you like this one. I'm thinking this is my favorite so far. This is block number 7. Let me know what yours is. All right, so bye for now. Happy quilting, and I'll definitely see you in the next one, guys. Bye.
Baby, you give me ice and fire.
Lovely.
You're giving me wings.